Welcome to running on Reddit. Like and subscribe, or you'll be running on fumes. People have this annoying habit of putting items on the belt at my store that they really shouldn't. I've seen them put drinks, bags and even items they bought somewhere else on the belt and just leave it there. Usually cause I'm the snarky ankle biter I am. I make a joke asking them if they want to buy the item again, which usually gets them to realize their mistake and quickly pick up whatever they put on my belt. Now, this is where that situation went horribly, confusingly wrong. I work in a metropolitan area and my store sees a ridiculous amount of traffic on any given day. Most of my customers are foreigners, and as such can usually only speak broken English when they can speak it at all. So here I was ringing up this customer when I noticed she left her water bottle on the belt. No biggie. I reach and move to hand it to her when she explodes. See, customer, no. Why, that's my water. Me, still holding water bottle out to her, utterly confused. I know. I'm handing it back. See, why I have to pay again. I already paid. Me, miss, I'm literally trying to give you your bottle back. See, no. I already paid. You can't make me pay again. Literally by this point my customary retail smile was gone from being yelled at by this lady, but thankfully a customer behind the woman just started laughing hysterically. NC, new customer, girl, she's just trying to give you back your water bottle. Don't you have eyes? Cue angry yelling customer turning red and meekly taking the water bottle while saying sorry a lot under her breath to me. I just kept the 1,000-yard dead retail face pointed at her for the rest of the transaction, while the customer behind her laughed, and she died a little more of embarrassment with each passing moment. An understandable mistake, a bit of an overreaction though. I would definitely be embarrassed if that happened to me. So, I get called into work today due to the massive amounts of people purchasing whatever they can stockpile in case of the end of the world. Every other second I'm getting a customer asking for hand sanitizer, toilet paper and Lysol wipes. People I know for a fact aren't cleanly at all decide to become clean freaks. This one lady who I've encountered many times in the store, always friendly, comes up and asks me for toilet paper. I tell her we're sold out. She keeps complaining about how the sale starts today. What do you mean? I tell her I literally put out the last of it last night and everything sold in the morning at like $15 each. She keeps telling me, but the sale starts today. Where is the toilet paper? I keep telling her we don't have any, and she keeps getting louder and angrier every time she asks. I'm like, no, we don't have any more, and walk away. It's crazy how even the nicest of people turn into monsters when they think the world is going to end. It's crazy what's going on with the virus these days. Let me know in the comments below if you've had an experience like this lately. This instance I was working at big American electronics store and was the only time I've ever fallen for this crap in my 5 years of retail. It's a slow day and we had a call out in the gaming department, so I was doing rounds between there and my usual department. A gentleman flags me down and asks me to pull box one out of the case for him. Cool, no big deal. He holds his hand out so he can take it up to the front, and obviously according to store policy that's not going to happen. But customers don't always think, so I don't think much of it and walk him over to a nearby register. We're chatting as we walk up, and when we get to the register I set this box down on the counter so I can log into the POS. That's when I hear, "Shoplifter, sorry bruh, this ain't your day." I look up as he grabs the Xbox and starts sprinting. At this point my mind is reeling, because I let that happen by setting expensive product down on the counter right in front of this dummy head. So, of course I do the stupidest thing possible, I chase him. I quickly explain the situation over the walkie-to app and tell her to call the cops, and I follow the guy, who's a good 100 feet ahead of me, round the corner, behind the store, and I watch as he starts booking it down a bike trail behind the store. At that point, I stop, defeated, because no way am I going chasing him down the sketchy bike trail. But then a cop on a motorcycle whizzes up next to me, and I quickly point him in the right direction. I walk back into my store praying that this man gets his comeuppance. 5 minutes later, I'm greeted with the sight of the cop walking back and with the Xbox, and the shoplifter cuffed in the back of a cop car. I casually walk outside and ask the cop what happened. Me, sweet. You got him. How'd that go? Cop, well, cop 1 caught up to him on the motorcycle and tackled him. He went down hard, but got up and started sprinting again. Me, so, how'd you get him? Cop, I showed up on the other side of the bike trail and tackled him. He went down hard again and ditched the Xbox and ran the other way. Me, laughs. Cop, and then cop 1 tackled him a 3rd time and he just kind of gave up, and now he's here. At this point I walked up to the side of the car and locked eyes with the would-be shoplifter. Me, laughs. Guess today isn't your day, is it? I high-five the cops involved. Wow, for some reason I love the idea of this guy getting tackled 3 times in a row. It's a good life lesson. Don't steal stuff. Especially an Xbox. PC Master Race. So, I work at a small liquor store in Georgia. One day an older man looks about in his 50s, along with a young girl that might be 18 at oldest, walk into the store. The guy brings 2 bottles of RTD drinks up to the counter and the girl brings a 6-pack of wine coolers. Obviously, since Georgia law requires anyone who physically brings alcohol up to the counter with the intent of it being purchased in any fashion, I have to check her ID. So, I ask for the ID. Guy, no, she's not buying it. Me, well, she brought it to the register, so by law I have to see her ID and confirm she's 21. Guy, this is my daughter and the beer is for my wife. The guy then pulls out a police badge and places it on the counter. I pause in disbelief. I think, is this guy really trying to do this? So, we then go back and forth about how the beer cannot be purchased, and he even tries the old what if she goes wait in the car, or if she puts the beer back and I bring it to the register. Me, it's like this. You being an officer of the law should know what the laws are. The fact you're putting me in this position is pretty inconsiderate. And, I cannot in any way sell you this 6-pack. Well, eventually he concedes. It was never really a major argument. Wish I could say some more crazy stuff happened, but no. There is this one little bit of info though. I later found out the officer was of top rank of a neighboring city. Not gonna get into any specifics other than that. But I mean, maybe he was getting it for his wife like he said, but I still just can't sell it to him. For all I know it could have been a sting. That's a thing. They will do that to liquor stores. Edit. I wasn't expecting so many comments, but I'll clarify a few things that were asked or suggested. He was a real cop. I told my boss what happened thinking we can have a good laugh about it. She knew who I was talking about because she saw him moments before this happened. Also, he lives down the street from her. As far as calling 911 or making a complaint, it never crossed my mind. Especially since when he conceded it seemed like he was happy I did my job. Plus, he very well have been buying it for his wife after all, and his daughter just got overzealous and grabbed it for him. I'm glad that OP stuck to their protocol, otherwise it would have turned out really bad if it was a sting. I work in a very small store in a very small community and have worked there for over a year now. This particular store is surrounded in very small houses, usually occupied by the elderly and middle-aged single mothers with their multiple kids, and the younger customers are all usually on financial aid of some kind. Now I love my job on most days. Usually everyone is friendly, and I have a hilarious and lovely group of regulars that I love to speak with. However, this time I had a night of almost no sleep and had to serve all of the usual jobless alcoholics and junkies in the area that morning, so I was a force to be reckoned with on this morning. I tried my best to be upbeat and friendly with everyone because my mood had nothing to do with them whatsoever, and they didn't deserve to see it. Until she walks in. Let's call her old lady, O/L. She is an elderly lady who comes in every second day, almost never speaks to the employees, and is usually not an issue for us. But this morning she was an absolute nightmare for absolutely no reason. A bit of necessary detail for all of you. My store has a checkout policy where you only need to call for someone else to jump onto another register and serve customers if there are more than 3 customers waiting. Otherwise one is enough, and I have over 4 years of retail experience. I'm 21, so I'm lightning fast on the register and can serve those 3 people within a minute. I'm serving one man in front of me, another man is behind him, and O/L is behind the second man. When O/L joins the line of customers, I'm just finishing serving the first man and moving on to the second when I hear her complain to another customer. O/L, they're supposed to ring for someone else, another employee, she says in a very grumpy voice. I couldn't hear what the other customer says, but he doesn't sound at all bothered. I ignore her and continue to serve the man in front of me while I hear her continue to complain about me in the background. I finish serving my customer and O/L walks up to me with her basket of items. I smile and say good morning and begin scanning her items. She leans forward on the counter and glares daggers at me. You are supposed to call for someone else when there's people in the line. She growls at me slowly, as if scolding a child. I feel my heart begin to race, but I try my best to keep calm. I have an anxiety disorder and do not cope well with confrontation, especially when I have done nothing wrong, so I tend to get upset very easily. I explained the policy to her as politely as I could, that I do not have to call for another employee unless there are more than 3 people waiting. When she joined the line there were only 2. O/L, I don't care, you're supposed to call. Me, beginning to shake. I just served you within 15 seconds of you joining the line. O/L, you all think you're really clever in here, don't you? She grumbles as she pulls out her purse to pay for her items. My eyes widen to the size of dinner plates and I feel my heart beat faster. I feel the anger rising. Excuse me? I ask, and she shakes her head, as if she didn't even hear me. Stupid bum, she grumbles as she places her card in the card reader. That was it. That crossed the line for me. I press the button on my screen to cancel the transaction, and she briefly freezes as the machine refuses her card. She looks up at me in anger, and gives me a face that says what? Me, I'm not going to serve you, if you're going to speak to me that way. I sound quite firm, but on the inside I'm angry, and not in the mood to deal with the disrespect. She just scoffs, pushes her basket of items towards me, which I take, and continues to cuss me out. O/L, you all think you're really clever in this shop, she yells at me, and I, somehow, manage to contain the tears. Fine, take this stuff. Stupid dumpy head, she continues as she storms out of the shop. I turn to face the new line of customers that has formed during this confrontation, and I notice that everybody is looking at me in sympathy. I take a deep breath to try and steady my now racing heart rate and say to the man in front of me, you can't demand a service while simultaneously insulting those providing it for you, and take another breath before I begin to serve him. He smiles in response to what I said and attempts to pay for his items with his card. That's when I notice O/L had left her bank card in the card reader. I let out a short laugh and say karma before placing it on the counter behind me, making the customers laugh too. A few customers in the line gave me a thumbs up, letting me know I was not in the wrong and that I did the right thing, but I was still extremely shaken up. My anxiety does not allow me steady emotions at this moment in time, and I did end up calling for my coworker to take over my register while I disappeared into the back of the store for a quick cry and a panic attack. My supervisor was supportive and brought me a glass of water, assuring me I did the right thing before leaving me alone for 10 minutes until I felt well enough to return to work. O/L did not return to the store to retrieve her bank card until a few days later. She got confronted by my supervisor for cussing at members of staff, but she denied everything. My supervisor didn't believe her, later told me it was because she has done this before, and I have not seen her since. Sorry if it's a bit anticlimactic, but seeing her leave her card behind did give me a great deal of satisfaction that I'm sure I would have enjoyed more if I weren't literally about to burst into tears at any second. Anyone who leaves mean comments about me getting upset over nothing clearly does not have an anxiety disorder and loses their right to an opinion on the matter. Have a nice day. I would have loved to cut up her card, but I would have gotten in trouble as it is not allowed where I live. We keep the card until it is asked for, and if you can prove the card is yours we give it back. We only destroy the card if over a week has passed and it remains unclaimed. Update: she has come in the shop a few times over the past few weeks and has been very polite and friendly. She either doesn't recognize me, new hair color, or she has genuinely forgot the encounter, or has chosen to pretend it never happened. OP really didn't deserve such harsh behavior from the old lady. I hope the old lady doesn't do stuff like that often, or as a practice, otherwise she'd be a menace at pretty much any establishment. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the bell or you'll be running on fumes. See you in the next video.